You're very welcome back. Now, today marks the return of the Dalkey Book Festival.
And Derek is there to give us an inside look.
Good morning, Derek. How are you getting on?
Yes, good morning team. Welcome down to the beautiful setting of Dalkey Library. We're down here, of course, to celebrate Dalkey Book Festival, which is up and running. We're joined now by broadcaster and economic commentator David McWilliams, as well as author Sarah Webb. Good morning to you both. Great to have you with us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Morning, Derek, and welcome to Dalkey.
Yeah, it's great to be down here. And David, of course, this festival is very close to your heart because you set it up back in 2010.
Well, I set it up with my wife in 2010. Now, you better be very
You're a
serious
good lady
about
wife.
My wife, Shan Smith. We set this up very small, about 10 years ago, 14 years ago, and it now has turned into something much, much bigger. We've, I think, 85 events over 4 days in 10 venues, writers, 103 writers coming from all over the world. So yeah, we started small, but it has grown, and it's great. It's wonderful.
It's grown legs, and it is great for the local village, the local community down here.
Well, it just generates so much trade, and it's not just trade, it's just excitement. You have people coming in, Dalkey's on the map for a couple of days, and and everyone gets behind it, so it's wonderful.
I mean, David, give us a list of some of the writers that are coming down here for the event.
We have Michael Lewis, probably the most famous non-fiction writer in America. We've Steven Pinker. Then we've got loads of our own locals. We've Ross O'Carroll Kelly. We've Joe O'Connor. I mean, the idea is we combine, literature, but with a little bit of economics, a little bit of history, fiction, non-fiction. We have stuff for kids, as you know. We've got stuff for dads, all sorts of stuff. We have a couple of stuffs I'll tell you about for Father's Day on Sunday. And the idea is to try and blend as many things as possible into as short a time as possible, generate as much interest as possible. And I think it's working. It's great.
Sarah, you are an author of, I believe, 52 books. Where'd you get the time?
I started young, Derek. Yeah.
I'm holding one here in my hand. It's called The Weather Girls. Did you write this one for me?
I did, Derek. Yeah, just for you. No, this one was inspired by the true story of Maureen Sweeney, originally from Kerry, but who lived in Blacksod, County Mayo, and she did the weather reports for D-Day. So she took all the information and then she rang it to the British War Office, where it went eventually. So D-Day, they postponed. They might have gone out in a storm, but because of her weather reporting, they didn't.
She changed the course of history.
She did, literally. And she was only a young woman. She was 20, going on 21 at the time. And I thought that this was an incredible story. And I love unearthing kind of little known stories. And so I've kind of used her story as a jumping off point. My two weather reporters are young girls. They're 12 and 13.
I'll be sure to give this one a read. As an author yourself, where do you find your inspiration having written 52 books?
Gosh, each book is a little bit different. So a lot recently, history. I did a book called Blazing a Trail, all about remarkable Irish women, inspired by Mary Robinson and what she did for the country. The one I'm working on at the moment is set in 1956 and inspired by the marriage bar, Derek, and how a whole generation of amazing women had to leave, some of them anyway, had to leave their jobs.
Speaking of women, and there's so many fantastic female authors out there.
There are, yeah, absolutely. And in the children's world, we are blessed to have Marita Conlon McKenna. And her book, Under the Hawthorn Tree, is now over 30 years old and still loved and read by children all over Ireland in school and at home for fun.
David, I'm a big fan of your podcast. I listen.
Come on, Derek, get the plug in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, speaking of all things politics and economics, let's talk about Trump's tariffs. Where is he going with them?
Well, I think the expression, I think you might have heard it, the taco tariffs. Trump always chickens out. So we in Ireland should kind of relax a bit, OK? We're dealing with a character who says one thing on a Tuesday, another thing on a Wednesday. By Thursday, he changes his mind, and by Friday, he denies he said it in the first place. So I think that, look, Trump's tariffs are part of the Trumpian notion of getting everybody talking about him. But the key thing is, Derek, will he carry these things out? I'm not sure. So I think there's a lot of nervousness in Ireland. A lot of people watching this show might be working in multinationals, might have trade with America. I'm thinking just relax for a bit and let's just see this one. We've got to sit in the sidelines and let it play out.
You also speak in your podcast about the UK spiral. What do you mean by that?
Well, the problem with the UK is the UK has been on a sort of a downward spiral for the last certainly 15, 20 years. And by that I mean the economy slows down, they panic, they have austerity, the austerity makes things worse, they change government, then they decide the problem is Europe, they move out of Europe, and they realise that maybe that's not the issue. And I think what the UK needs is, again, to somebody in the football parlance to stand on the ball in the middle of the pitch and slow things down. And we just have to watch the UK and realise that good countries can go bad quite quickly. And that, I think, is what happened to the UK. In fact, we've got a UK event here, which is about British exceptions. We've a lot of UK commentators coming over and asking them what is going on. Because, again, it still is our biggest neighbour.
And closer to home then, up in Ballymena, of course, night 3 of the riots.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you make of that?
Look, Jan, my wife, is from the north. She's from Belfast. You know, I'm amazed. Belfast is, Northern Ireland is now the most dangerous place for young women. So crimes against women are through the roof in Northern Ireland. They don't seem to be worried about that. The rioters aren't worried about the fact that it's crimes against women. I think this is much more to do with the general right-wing idea that basically all immigrants must be targeted. It seems to me to be like a pogrom, because what's extending is not just from this Roma individuals involved, but all foreigners in Ballymena. And that's not the way forward for any of us.
No. Before we wrap up, your top 3 books, will you go through them quickly there for us?
Well, I'm going to change my mind now, because this is all about the history of information. This is Chris Judge's incredible book about propaganda and the start of propaganda.
Wow.
And it's for
Wow.
readers of 9+ right up to adults. It's incredible. Brilliant,
That's
brilliant
called The
book.
History of Information. Another one there?
Second one, David O'Doherty, one of my favourite children's books of all time. Summer I Robbed a Bank, written when David was on Achill Island with his parents.
Wow. And finally we have?
Badger Books, and I love this because our bookshop is in it halfway up the stairs. But it is an incredible book for bedtime stories about a badger dad or a badger male. He's not the fox's dad, because that would be wrong.
Yeah. David, your one very quickly.
I've got three people who are at the festival. Ross and Carol Kelly, they're all gems.
Yeah.
Joe O'Connor, local guy, as too is
My
Paul
Father's
Howard
House,
Ross,
yeah, great book.
And of course, Martina Devlin, local on Charlotte Bronte.
Okay, David, and so thank you so much for chatting to us here this morning. DalkeyBookFestival.org for more information online. I hope you enjoyed that here this morning. Get reading. Back to studio. Yeah, fantastic.
Thank you
Sarah.
so much for that, Derek. Absolutely fantastic. Libraries, a wonderful, wonderful resource as always. Now, still to come, podcaster Louise McSharry is going to be joining us for a chat in just a little while.
We're also getting some top tips on how to stay stylish and comfortable in this morning's fashion.
Plus, we're going to be checking out what's hot at the cinema right now. We'll see you after the break.